Imagine having like a secret superpower for your crypto trades, a hidden network, tirelessly searching every single corner of the market just to guarantee you get the most value for your money. And you don't even have to lift a finger. That's the fascinating tech we're unwrapping today. You absolutely do not want to miss this one. Welcome to Unwrapped, the podcast for DeFi, NFTs, on-chain culture, and all things in the BMX ecosystem.
Right, and before we really dive in, just that quick but crucial reminder, this discussion, it's purely for educational purposes.
Okay.
It's definitely not financial advice. Always do your own research.
Absolutely. Your own research is key. Now, for anyone new joining us, let's quickly talk BMX. Think of it as a whole suite of DeFi products, an ecosystem, really. It's all part of this powerful flywheel that's designed to capture on-chain fees and route that value accrual directly back to its users. Simple as that. We're also pretty excited about the upcoming Deli Swap. That's our decentralized exchange. And what's cool is that every single liquidity pool there is uniquely paired with wBLT.
And wBLT, yeah, that's really central to the whole thing. It's basically a diversified index token, backed by solid stuff like CBBTC, ETH, USDC, and it's specifically designed to, capture fees from multiple markets all at once. It's about getting broad exposure and really efficient value capture.
Exactly. And here's something really critical. The entire BMX ecosystem, zero emissions. We don't just print new tokens to get liquidity. The focus is purely on real fee accrual.
Yeah, and if we connect this to let's say, the bigger picture, understanding how these DEX aggregators work is really key to seeing how an ecosystem like BMX optimizes things for its users, by tapping into the broadest possible liquidity and making sure that fee accrual is super efficient. So today, we're taking a deep dive into how these aggregators have kind of quietly revolutionized DeFi.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because to really appreciate these secret superpowers, we kind of need to rewind. Back to the Wild West days of DeFi. Gosh, I remember trying to manually compare prices across like 3 different DEX just for one swap, and often feeling like I still got a raw deal. DEX was its own little island, completely isolated. You might find, say, DEX A had a great price, but maybe DEX B had deeper liquidity, less slippage. So traders were stuck manually comparing, which was just incredibly tedious and honestly often led to suboptimal trades. What a headache.
Oh, totally. That fragmentation was a huge challenge, created what we call liquidity silos. DEX aggregators really started popping up around 2019. You have pioneers like 1inch, Matcha. They came along to solve exactly this problem. Think of them like a search engine or maybe a travel booking site for your crypto trades, like how Expedia or Google Flights scans dozens of airlines to find the best flight. Same idea.
Right. Okay. So how do they actually pull off this magic trick under the hood? It sounds incredibly complex, coordinating all those different platforms.
Well, it comes down to some pretty sophisticated smart order routing algorithms. So when you go to make a swap, let's say token A to token B, the aggregator's algorithm instantly queries like tons of DEX and liquidity pools across different blockchains even. And it considers a whole bunch of factors in real time, not just the exchange rates, but also liquidity depth, the swap fees on each platform, and even things like the gas costs for executing the trade on different venues.
Wow, that's an incredible amount of data to juggle basically instantly. Are there like specific trade-offs or maybe hidden complexities they face trying to optimize all that stuff at once?
That's a really sharp question. The main complexity is definitely balancing all those variables, especially when market conditions are shifting constantly. But to maximize efficiency, particularly for bigger trades, an aggregator might actually split your order. So maybe part goes through Uniswap, another bit through SushiSwap, maybe a third chunk through a balancer pool, all just trying to minimize the overall price impact, the slippage, And what's more, sometimes it's actually better to go through an intermediate token, like A to C than C to B, gets you a better rate. And these aggregators, they can chain those multi-hop swaps together seamlessly.
And for me, the user, all this stuff, the splitting, the multi-hops, the querying, it just happens in one go.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I lose visibility into what's happening? Or is it like truly seamless but still transparent?
It's definitely designed to be seamless from your perspective. Yeah. But without losing transparency. The whole complex process happens in just one single, what we call atomic user transaction. You approve it once, right?
Yeah.
And the aggregator smart contract does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes, talking to multiple contracts, doing its thing. And you can always check the transaction details on chain if you want. And crucially, remember, this is non-custodial. You're always in full control of your funds. The aggregator contract only executes the swap you approved. It never actually holds your assets.
Okay, got it. We've seen the intricate mechanics. But for me, and I bet for a lot of you listening, the big question is, why does all this really matter for us as like everyday DeFi users?
Oh, it matters hugely because the benefits are pretty substantial and they directly impact your results. First off, maximize liquidity access. That's a big one. By pulling from countless sources, aggregators give you access to a much, much larger pool of liquidity than any single exchange could. This means you can do larger trades or trade less common pairs with way less slippage.
So it's kind of like having every market maker competing for your trade, right? All trying to give you the best deal. But with so many players involved, are there ever times when this competition could be, I don't know, gamed? Or maybe where users should be a bit more cautious?
That's a fair point. While they aim for the best price, understanding potential risks like MEV maximal extractable value is important. Where bad actors try to reorder transactions for profit. We'll touch on how some aggregators fight that. But generally, yeah, they pit DEX against each other. Ensure you get the best price execution. You're not just getting a better rate than finding it yourself. You're often grabbing tiny arbitrage opportunities automatically. Stuff you totally miss. It's like passive market intelligence working for you. Then there's just the sheer convenience and user empowerment. Aggregators make the whole process way simpler. They act like that smart search engine. So you don't need deep knowledge of every single liquidity pool out there. It really lowers the barrier to entry for DeFi.
And saving on gas, yeah, that's always huge for me, but for many listeners too. How significant are those savings usually, like in real terms?
They can be pretty significant, yeah, especially for complex trades that might otherwise need multiple manual swaps. By basically rolling multiple potential swaps into one efficient transaction, aggregators often save you on gas fees. Some, like CowSwap, even offer gasless trading. The user doesn't pay gas directly. And crucially, aggregators stick to the core DeFi values. Decentralization, self-custody. You keep control of your funds, but still get competitive pricing. Plus, many offer advanced stuff now, like limit orders, which you didn't used to get easily on AM-based DEX. And some even act as meta-aggregators, routing through lending protocols or even derivatives, if that's the optimal path.
Okay, the theory is powerful. But where are we seeing this innovation really shine in the wild? Let's maybe take a quick tour through some of the standout aggregators, see what makes them tick, because each seems to have its own unique angle.
Good idea. Let's look at, say, 0x, which powers Matcha. They're known for a kind of hybrid approach, combining the usual on-chain DEX liquidity with off-chain RFQ, that's requests for, quote, orders from professional market makers. This can sometimes lead to surprisingly better prices, especially if you're doing large trades.
Interesting. Sounds like they're bringing a bit of that TradFi efficiency into DeFi, blending the two.
Exactly. Then you've got KyberSwap. They really emphasize dynamic trade routing. They don't just aggregate other DEX, they integrate their own AMM pools too. And what's particularly neat is their optional MEV protection. They use private RPCs like flashbots to help shield users from front-running risks.
Right, that's a huge plus for anyone worried about security.
Yeah.
But how common is MEV really? Is this something every DeFi user needs to actively worry about, or is it more for the big whales?
MEV is subtle, but it's pretty pervasive. It's not just for high-volume traders. Even smaller swaps can get hit by things like sandwich attacks. So having those protections built in, that's a real advantage for pretty much anyone in DeFi. Next up, Odos, another technical powerhouse. They have this patented smart order routing algorithm, scans over 500 liquidity sources, including lending platforms, yield optimizers, the works. But what's really fascinating with them is their multi-token swap capability. Imagine like clearing out 3 different random tokens from your wallet all into one target token in a single transaction. Saves gas, simplifies rebalancing. It's a game changer.
Wow, that's a serious time saver. And definitely simplifies things users often struggle with.
It really is. And then OpenOcean. They focus heavily on cross-chain stuff. Interoperability, supports over 30 networks, integrates bridges, makes swapping across chains pretty seamless. They even offer a slippage subsidy. If the final price you get is worse than quoted, they compensate you with their OAE token. It's a unique kind of price protection. Pretty bold, actually.
That is bold. Offering a guarantee like that shows real confidence in their routing tech.
For sure. And finally, CowSwap, or CowW protocol. Totally unique approach. They use a batch auction model, which inherently provides MEV protection. Trades settle in batches at one uniform clearing price, which basically stops sandwich attacks. Plus, users don't pay gas directly. Solvers cover it, which raises that important question. How do you actually get gasless, MEV-protected trading in DeFi? CowSwap shows one way. Their whole approach is just fundamentally different, very user-centric, focused on safety and efficiency.
Okay, so we've explored this complex world of aggregators. Pretty amazing stuff. But now the magic connection.
Yeah.
What does this all actually mean for BMX? How do these behind-the-scenes titans plug into and really power our ecosystem?
Well, like we said, they're kind of the quiet MVPs for BMX. These aggregators allow external order flow to find BLT and wBLT efficiently, and they ensure that something like Deli Swap taps into the widest possible liquidity pool out there. We've actually strategically built in 3 distinct lanes for routing into BLT and wBLT.
3 lanes. Okay, tell us more about how BMX benefits from that kind of integration.
Right. So the first one is through underlying BLT routing within BMX Classic. Even though Classic is mainly a perpetuals DEX, it actually has a spot market built in. So major aggregators can route just regular spot trades through the blue chip assets that make up BLT. And those trades, they generate spot fees that then contribute to Classic's overall product fees.
So even if someone's just doing a normal spot swap using their favorite aggregator, they could be interacting with BLT and generating value for the whole ecosystem without even knowing it. That's pretty slick.
Exactly. It's all about leveraging existing market flows passively. The second lane is custom wBLT routing. Kyber, Matcha, Odos, OpenOcean, they're specifically set up to mint BLT or buy wBLT if that turns out to be the best path for a swap. And then they can redeem on the other side if needed. This creates extra mint redeem fee events, right? And lets aggregators treat BLT like this really versatile multi-asset liquidity hub.
Gotcha. And Deli Swap then brings in the third lane, making the integration even tighter.
It does, yeah. Deli Swap itself acts as a third routing lane, plus it really leans into Meta-Aggregation. See, Deli Swap is built on Uniswap v4, and since Unipools and BLT are already integrated with all the major aggregators, Deli Swap can basically capture routes coming from all of them. Now, if you trade directly on Deli Swap, you still get the best price shown, but our user experience actively encourages using a Meta-Aggregator for quotes. Specifically, we surface LlamaSwap.
Okay, but why the meta-aggregator first approach? If these individual aggregators are already so good, why add another layer? What's the actual benefit there for the user?
That's a really crucial question, because the truth is, no single router always gives the absolute best price, not under all conditions. Each one has its strengths, right? Maybe 0x with its RFQ system is best sometimes, or Kyber with its MEV protection, or Odos finding complex multi-token paths. Meta-aggregation, basically aggregating the aggregators, ensures maximum coverage. It captures the individual strengths of every underlying aggregator. So it basically guarantees the user gets the absolute best quote available across the entire DeFi landscape. It's like leveraging the market's collective intelligence.
Okay, that makes sense. So what does all this fancy routing and meta-aggregation mean for you, the wBLT holder, at the end of the day?
Right. For wBLT holders, the goal is for your holdings to be a passive value accrual engine. Simple as that. First, external trades can effectively light up BLT. Routers can silently convert flows in blue chip assets into BLT mints or wBLT buys whenever the pricing makes sense. So it automatically converts broad market activity directly into fee accrual for you.
That's a really powerful way to benefit from just general market activity without having to do anything active yourself.
It really is. Second, BLT functions as network liquidity infrastructure because these smart routers recognize BLT as this deep multi-asset pool. wBLT effectively captures a slice of activity across the entire base network, not just trades happening directly on Deli Swap. The goal is really broad order flow, all feeding into one super efficient fee processing vault. And finally, fees route automatically to the vault. It's all automated. A big chunk of protocol fees from all BMX products, Classic, Freestyle, Carousel, gets directed to BLT. The wBLT vault automatically harvests these fees, converts them, processes them into more BLT, which steadily increases the BLT per wBLT ratio over time. And you don't have to manually claim anything.
And how does Deli Swap's design specifically fit into this, especially thinking about the liquidity providers, the LPs?
It directs a huge 97% of trading fees from each pool straight to LPs as BMX tokens via the wBLT BMX pool. A small 3% is vote directed towards the BMX staking safety module for ecosystem security. We also use daily epochs for distributing fees, which means less value lost due to delays. LPs get their fees faster than typical weekly models. So, bottom line, you as a user can just click swap on a meta-aggregator like LlamaSwap. You might still route through BLT wBLT if it offers the best price. And all the while, LPs are getting efficient fee streams and the wBLT vault is just doing its thing, automatically accruing fees. It's a beautifully synchronized system. So yeah, just to quickly recap our journey today, we started way back in those early fragmented days.
Right.
Total chaos.
Islands everywhere.
Then we saw how aggregators and now Meta-Aggregators emerged as this really ingenious solution, unifying liquidity, optimizing trades, making things way easier for users.
Finding that best path.
Finding that best path. And then we dove into how seamlessly these tools integrate with and really power the BMX ecosystem, especially with Deli Swap leveraging that Meta-Aggregator first strategy.
So wrapping it up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? I think the bottom line is these aggregators, they're not just some nice-to-have feature. They are absolutely crucial for maximizing value accrual and capital efficiency, both within the BMX ecosystem and really across all of DeFi.
Couldn't agree more.
What you get is optimal prices and convenience. You're always accessing the best possible prices out there through a seamless, usually single-click experience. You also get protection and efficiency, benefiting from that smart routing, the gas optimizations, even protection against nasty stuff like MEV or front-running. And maybe most importantly, if you're a wBLT holder, this entire design ensures that external trading activity, stuff happening all over the network, directly and automatically contribute to the value accrual of your wBLT. It makes it an incredibly capital-efficient asset to hold.
Yeah, it really ties it all together. And maybe just a final thought to leave people with. Consider this. As these aggregators get even better, even more embedded, maybe even abstracting away the underlying chains and protocols entirely, what does that mean for the future of, like, invisible DeFi?
Invisible DeFi.
Yeah, where maybe you, as a user, don't even need to know which chain your trade is routing through. You just express your intent. I want to swap X for Y. Give me the best possible outcome right now.
And the network just figures it out.
And the network, powered by these incredibly sophisticated aggregators and meta-aggregators, automatically figures out and executes the most efficient, the most secure, the most value-accruing path for you, all happening seamlessly in the background. Complex finance becoming, well, simple, accessible, invisible.
Wow. That's a powerful vision.
Yeah.
True financial automation built on chain. And it really feels like we're heading rapidly in that direction. It's not science fiction anymore.
Not at all.
Well, it's definitely something to think about. We really encourage you to explore the BMX ecosystem further, learn more about wBLT and Deli Swap, and actually see these aggregators in action for yourself. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.